What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're focusing on World Rugby, making it clear that there are no bailouts for any of the SANZAAR nations. No bailout for Argentina, Australia, South Africa or New Zealand. Now, this has obviously been quite a massive topic in the past few weeks, months, as this pandemic has just gotten worse and worse, as these franchises are realizing that money is getting tight, and the longer we go on with no rugby, the chance of players getting cut, the just finances are going into a massive loss. The one that's been the biggest noise that's been made about is definitely with Australia, having their already 9.7 million loss, and then obviously predicting with this pandemic getting worse and worse with no rugby at all, it's just going to increase to the hundreds. The worst fact is that combined, all four nations are sitting at approximately 400 to 500 million pounds loss if there is no rugby scheduled until the end of the year. It's over a billion rand in South African rands, because obviously economy versus the two currencies is quite different, but that's a lot of money that we're looking at. I know South Africa, we're looking at about 200 to 300 400 million rand loss or something like that. So it's not looking good, and there's been so much talk of what to do in order to keep the sport going. What are we going to replace it with? South Africa is talking of bringing up a franchise up in June. Australia was talking about creating their own. New Zealand was talking about creating their own, but then obviously lockdown in New Zealand got picked up quite hectically, so then that idea was scrapped. Then there's talk of bringing in the Rugby Championship, making that the highlight of the year's tournament, and doing in a quick 6-week tournament, dedicating it to one country, so that there's no travel costs, no risks of increasing infections, etc., etc. So a lot of plans that SANZAAR are trying to bring in order to get this tournament or get rugby played in the respective nations. And we all know how desperately it's needed, not just for ourselves as fans, but for these players to earn an income and a salary. But not only that, at the end of the day, these lockdown rules are set out for safety of the people, and if we try and break these risks or figure out ways to maneuver around, it's just putting players at risk to lose a life or get sick, etc., etc., with risks in their family, their friends, and this whole wide generation just continues to increase and develop. So it's not great at the moment, but at the end of the day, we've got to do what's best for the sport and for the four nations that are currently in dying needs of getting sport up and away. But the beauty or the good positive side is that SANZAAR are looking at ways to bring out a tournament, to bring out something. I mean, there's been rumors that they want to still try and force out Super Rugby, still try and bring in Rugby Championship, keep everything going so we can bring it back. There's been ways of trying to get the sport going without no fans, etc., etc. But at this stage, there's no real prediction as to when we will see the sport coming back, because of the fact that we just don't know how worse it's going to get. They say around the world, obviously New Zealand, South Africa are in hectic lockdown. I'm not too sure about Argentina. So any Argentinian guys, let me know in the comment section. But they're saying Australia would be the best fit in order to create a tournament like this, like the Rugby Championship, and host it there and only there. And it will probably be in Perth because it's a less affected city, and then it will also suit South Africa because the time zones aren't as hectic opposed to the other time zone within Australia. So it could definitely work and could be a great thing, and I want it to happen, but it's just not the case. But World Rugby, Augustin Pichot has made it very clear that there will be no financial relief for SANZAAR nations, and it's up to them to find a way in order to compensate for themselves and to survive and to grow, because it's just these other nations are going to go through the same thing the longer we wait. And he said it's not about the World Rugby giving out handouts, because there's no handouts possible. World Rugby does not have £400 million to dish out. And that's the scary thing that's going around, is how much is at stake. So for me, I would keep with SANZAAR fighting ways and getting out plans in order to try and recover the sport, bring it back, plead to governments and all that stuff in order to make some sort of money, and do player cuts for those big stars who don't really need it as much, if you know what I mean, and focus on the poorer players type thing. But it's going to be a hectic few months, weeks, maybe even a year for these four nations in order for recovery. But let's hope and pray and have every faith that this will reduce and the virus will be defeated, and that we can get sport back for the players' sake, for our sake as fans, and for every person in management, stadium staff, etc., ticketing staff. There's so many people that are affected, and we need to hope that we can get sport back. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. And if you want to be a member of the channel, click on the join button down below. Look forward to welcoming you as a member to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.